Greetings and salutations, my birders, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, we finished game 1. We learned that our first case, our first case in London was, a sham, a fraud, a conspiracy of sorts. What else happened there? Suzuko, I think her name was, went back to Japan because of her father falling ill, and everything pretty much just wrapped up in a nice bow. Oh, there was a conspiracy that Kazuma was a part of that we don't know about anything about, and that was the big reveal of the end of the first game. Okay, I just cracked my neck. Let's get more. I don't know why I did, but now my video delay is back, which sucks. Because I'm pretty sure it got fixed last time, so I'm kind of bummed out about that. But hopefully, I fixed the screen tearing at least, because I think it was because I was using the auto resolution, and that was kind of messing it up. So I switched to 720p. So hopefully that stops the tearing. We'll see. Yep, now it's time for the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Oh shit, did he die?
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean, those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned.
What?
And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
What the? Why wasn't that voice? I faced myself with another crime. I thought I'm mad too.
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
That student's back. Oh shit, she's dead.
So please, I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
Oh goddamn, freaking fake out. The adventure of the blossoming attorney. Oh shit, are we all just... Are we playing as her for the entire game? 13th August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. Susato. Here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I know how to pronounce this. Why can't I pronounce this?
feel so nervous, but I must steel myself. I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself.
Oh, he's alive. Cool. Oh, good. You're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late.
Oh, yes. Good morning, sir.
I hardly recognize you. Quite a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet, and those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either.
Oh, dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous.
Hey, Commander. How you doing?
I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born.
Goodness. Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say.
Eugene Mikotaba, Professor of Medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me.
Oh, the woman. I actually don't know what the lore behind Yield is. If you do know it, enlighten me.
Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today? Yes. That's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear my life. It's a complete fabrication, the whole thing. Rie Membami, born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory, helping my father. And sadly, she's a defendant in today's trial.
Okay, yeah, move on, Mike.
Accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh my. It's just that you look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am.
It would seem. Oh wait, I think I remember what voice again.
It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotaba? If even your best friend can see through the disguise, I think we can relax. Disguise? Yes. I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But it does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? What? Is that you, Susato? I'm so sorry I didn't say sooner, Ray.
Really hate when they do that.
It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, That varsity badge! Look at you! You look for all the world just like a student of the Imperial Yume University. A male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see, it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted to into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato, you'd go to such lengths for me?
Well, that's oh, that's the origin of Yi. Neat. I assume old is just the old spelling of old before the E dropped off. Truly fascinating.
Of course, you're my greatest friend. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet just because you're a woman. What a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray? Please don't look at me like that. With those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, you really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you managed to put on a brave face in all of this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly. Susato, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder. Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. It means so much to me, Susato.
Defendant, counsel. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once.
You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this. Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that. And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was? We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. I'm Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here? I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. God damn, again? What is causing this?
August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom 1. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Mbambi.
The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency.
Ah, it's not in Tottenham. Defense counsel, are you ready?
Yes, Your Excellency. We are ready. Ready!
Classic. Oh, yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaru Naruhodo. Is that correct?
Sorry? Oh, yes, I had to come up with a super male name for you for this little venture. I'm afraid I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind.
And you didn't tell her? What the hell's wrong with you? Well, counsel.
Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I am Ryotaro. He who has vowed upon to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan.
Ah,
It seems Ryotaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first, and not overdo it. And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naruhodo?
A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name Naruhodo, would that perchance be...
You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is, his cousin. That's right. Naruto here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for his trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivaled that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them.
Tut, tut, tut. What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has had to call in a country boy.
How dare you! Susao is every bit as gallant and dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys.
I won't have you making fun of her. Her? Oh,
Please be careful, Ray.
This, what an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not.
I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like her or not, eyes want to flit. Old English. Old is old. I don't know much about Middle English, but based on the context of being a lot of imported words from Latin and the imported concept of evil silent letters, because when Romans or the church wrote Latin, they didn't have spaces, so letters that made no phonic sense at the end of words made things more readable. So I think they just retrofitted silent letters on back of words derived from Old English. That makes sense. I didn't know they didn't have spaces. So, pointless silent letters make a lot of sense. Fascinating.
The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our nation's interests, our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may very well affect the very future of our empire.
Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet, for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock? Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom.
9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you are standing now. The same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy.
So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
Alright, it's time to prove myself. Yes, Your Excellency. But please do make them simple.
Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim.
Phew. That is simple. I can't forget that if I tried.
Yeah, I believe there's twice as much Latin in modern English than there's in actual English. There's so many board words, and I don't know what the heck's going on with my mic. I'm freaking out lately. Ever since I installed this Ever since I installed this new powered USB hub, it's been doing this. I don't know why. My phone's been nearby me like all the time. It's only like recently that I started doing this. It's honestly tempting us.
What's the matter? Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruto-san goes through. Like it or not, minds are... want to blank. It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances. Oh dear, this is a dismal failure. Don't fret. You need only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome this problem. Of course, the court record. Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court record. That's right. Just use R to open the court record. Then you need to flip to the people section with R. And don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely. Alright, check the court record with R. That's where the information I need will be.
I'm waiting, Consul. Alright, victim. Giselle Brett. Or Giselle Brett. The victim of the case, who was a former British exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of the murder of visiting Professor Dr. John Wilson. What is the name of the victim in this case? Giselle Brett.
Yes!
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett. A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure.
Correct. And being a member of our Empire's judiciary, you will be well aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Great Empire of Britain. Why, then, is her name indelibly associated with our own Empire's judicial history?
Obviously, you won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record. Obviously, I still remember.
I can't believe her hair bun's not like giving her away. Not really a common style for young Japanese men of this time.
That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett. Behind the woman's student persona was the face of Queen Victoria, a killer.
Yes!
It's fall under the hat, yes, but it's like very large behind her head.
"9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Humane University was killed. And the culprit was Giselle Brett. Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An English gentleman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours.
Oh. Wait, who's talking? Is this the judge? I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikutoba.
Yes, I was indebted to the man. He had been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly.
Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here in the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Renosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Breton. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, one question about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life. She gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion.
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular
jurisdiction into play.
We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead.
Why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there.
Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week.
It took 9 months for that? Jeez.
All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed.
Only the day before?
That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant.
Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle.
Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecution, Ouchie.
As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th August, in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lungs, an injury which proved fatal.
That swan was alive. What happened to that?
There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett, in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Membami. Accordingly, there can be no doubt for the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady.
Well, that extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say.
That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about a powerful motive. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
Tut tut tut! Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
I beg your pardon?
No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Membami-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe?
Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that the defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility.
Fascinating to hear. Now, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
Oh, well, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago?
The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true?
Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man.
Interesting. Then, tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him.
Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done, a powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray, be careful what you're saying.
Ah. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency.
Well, it was clearly a trap all along. How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that. I must find out more details, and something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about being alone together. Mbami-san? Yes, what is it, Susa? I mean, Naruhodo-san? I'm really starting to wish I'd remade my alias Ryotaro Susato. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her. Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett, for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion. That's all.
But let's be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life.
No.
Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again.
Kindly refrain from conjecture, Council.
Tish, huh?
The Prosecution Council seems to enjoy using provocation tricks like that.
Provocative.
But for now at least, we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him goad you. Oh dear. This really is terrifying. But Father's right. We need more information. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the Prosecution's Counsel on what he said about
The bathing spot, I guess.
If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie.
What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student?
I wonder, could you explain please? You mentioned a bathing spot.
Ha! My apologies. Clearly, my modern...
Ah, goddammit.
My modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the waters of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins.
No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea?
For old time's sake, I believe.
That does not seem justifiable.
Sorry?
Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply.
Weird. And suspicious.
But on what grounds would we agree to such a request? Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal.
Don't look at me, Professor! It was the government who granted permission, not I! In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong!
But in fact, a murder took place.
I said don't look at me! It was that young student girl who did it, not I!
No one has proved that yet. I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
I believe we have a clear picture of the incident now.
Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university.
What?
Honestly, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murderer of the mentor, for whom she had such great respect, enjoying such undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Poor Ray.
So, Your Excellency, if you'd be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
Oh, she actually was changed. Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. Still wearing the hat.
As you can see, there's nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have hidden.
I don't think you need to hide in the hut. You can just walk out of it. It's me out goddamn straw. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
What witnesses? But who?
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Gah.
Very well then, counsel. Bring forth your witnesses.
I, Takatsuchi Ouchi, have been waiting for this moment.
Sorry?
Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago. Here, in this very courthouse. When that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. Ah, Rinosuke Naruhodo.
What? Yes?
This insult to the Ouchi family name will never be forgotten.
You have become conceited with age, counsel. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that.
Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment toils. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, counsel?
Silence! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the ouchie growth. You see the seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown. I think that tiny growth is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly? Utter silence! Today, I face another Yoko student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you. And my victory will be the fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls the witnesses to the stand.
It looks like the stakes are high on both sides of this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose. A haircut is hardly comparable to Rei's life.
Huh. Hey, Natsume-san, you're alive. Or you're in public, I guess.
Witnesses, please state your names and occupation for the court.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected.
And I am, well, the next big thing in books. An author renowned throughout the capital. In fact, yes. To be sold out! The satirical I Am a Cat! A sensational success by Soseki Natsume!
Oh my goodness!
Struggling student from the provinces, please. You needed to be in awe of me.
I need it?
It's only natural you feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please, relax. Call me Soseki, even.
Yes. What on earth is Soseki doing here? Tread carefully, Susato. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun. Yes, of course. I know. I presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? Well, your glasses for one. Although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. Ah, I suppose it's this disguise, isn't it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly.
Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business do writers such as yourself have being at the scene? Soseki-san.
Excuse me.
Ah, well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident, in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
At Yume University?
After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact.
With Professor Mikotoba? Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who studied in Great Britain.
Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leaves me alone. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies.
Thank you very much. He probably threw that paper at me.
The Soseki Natsume article has been entered into court record. A newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Soseki-san. The debate became quite spirited. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words.
As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory, under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance, The university merely contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. But fortunately, I am at peak physical finesse at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my! Professor, Inspector, well, you have something on your face now. Ah, how unsightly. I do apologize. Does it mean you went to the beach too, Father? No. Fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that, as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place.
Of course. Being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. Oh, what if only I had? I'd never seen such I'd never have seen that awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast.
Of course, Your Excellency. Oh, God. Of course, Your Excellency.
Yeah, we get so hungry and sleepy when I do this game.
Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am.
The witness scene.
On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard the caterwaul from behind me.
I ran to the beach high at once, where I found the pair in question.
Yes. That young girl was astride, the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly.
I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times.
Indeed, it does appear that from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime.
What?
Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes. That was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, Counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it?
Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What? Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me! Yes, The victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand.
That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency.
Oh! The owner's initials have been engraved onto the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Membami. The initials of the defendant.
No!
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. The fountain pen has been entered into court record.
Good, yeah, can't stop yawning. Ugh.
So, have I admitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. The prosecutor Augie of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense. You may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san.
Naruhodo. That means... Oh, yes! Me!
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Cousin Rotaro, pull yourself together, please. Alright, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Find inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. Let's see what I can do.
The witness scene.
On today's incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise.
Hold it!
In that jaunty disguise? Correct. Wait, no! I mean, it wasn't the first time I've worn this swimsuit before I dipped the ocean. It's tried and tested. Do what must be done to keep the Englishwoman under surveillance. Those were my orders that day. And this tried and tested outfit was the answer. Being able to blend flawlessly into a crowd is an important part of a detective's job. I submerged myself in the salty water, leaving only my Mr. Turtle floating inconspicuously on the surface. Mr. Turtle loves water. But there was no need for you to blend into the background on this assignment, really, was there? If that made you late arriving on the scene, I think perhaps you had your priorities wrong. Perhaps I shouldn't pursue this line of questioning any further at the moment.
I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a counterwall from behind me.
Hold it! Damn it.
Ah! You're describing the victim's scream, presumably Sasaki-san?
In more literary terms, you might say it was a scream that could have pierced the heavens. Kia! Or the like. Of course, that's just a metaphor. We renowned authors are wont to describe things so.
Sasaki-san wasn't like this. Sasaki-san wasn't at all like this in English.
Anyway, I spun around at the noise, and the beach hut immediately fell under my gaze.
Yes, the beach hut. The area is popular with government ministers. Many have seaside retreats there for rest and recuperation. Locals are prohibited from entering the area, so it's always very quiet. The beach hut is a simple structure, erected as a place for people to change or take refuge from the sun.
Although, the English woman commandeered the hut for herself. Which meant that I was forced to change into my swimsuit on the sand.
Ah, I imagine that was rather embarrassing for you.
Well, anyway, I tossed the crab aside and headed for the beach hut at a run. Or, in more literary terms, I decrabbed and beetled off hut-wise.
Damn it.
I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question.
All I have left is salt. Like that.
Hold it!
Wait, by pair, you mean to say... But how could that be? No, you misunderstand. Obviously, I mean the victim and the defendant, Rei Mimbabi-san. Oh. It would have been helpful if you could have just said that from the outset. If you jump to conclusions, you have to expect to fall flat on your face sometimes.
Dear me! Pinning your hopes on such an outside chance. Foolish. Very foolish.
It really was an outside chance. I just wish I'd realized that before I said something silly.
Okay, yeah, that's pure salt. This is not helping hunger.
So, Inspector, why don't you tell the court how exactly you found the aforementioned pair in the hut?
Well, it was a sorry sight. A really grisly scene. I parted the northern curtain hanging in the doorway and stepped inside only to see... the defendant leaning menacingly over the lifeless body of the victim sprawled on the sand. My glasses nearly cracked at the ominous sight that met my eyes.
How thoroughly appalling!
He doesn't appear to be lying here. Well, Sasaki-san, can you confirm what Inspector Hosonaga is saying? I wonder?
Ah, you like a literary man's opinion? Yes. That young girl was astride the English woman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly.
Hold it!
Stabbed wildly? You actually saw her do it?
Oh, indeed. The terrible spectre, the terrapin inspector, the bloody torrent, the author's torment.
Eek!
Every sight and every sound is still carved in my melancholy memory. That was my impression, at least, as a future literary sensation.
Counsel! What on earth was that shrill, effeminate scream?
Oh, no. What are you insinuating? I'm as merely a Japanese man as you. I wonder if I might interject here, Sasaki-san. Something you said is troubling me. That was my impression. Were your words just now, I believe. So, do you mean to say you're not confident that you really did see what you've described?
No, I mean, yes. I mean, I know what I saw. My ears didn't deceive me when I heard that scream. Hence my eyes didn't deceive me either. I could describe everything I saw vividly. I could publish it all in tomorrow's newspaper serial.
It sounds as though the next installment of I Am a Cat may take a macabre turn.
I think this is a fool's errand. The more we press your author friend on what he saw, the more entrenched he's going to become. Oh dear, how awkward. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she stabbed the victim multiple times.
Hold it!
She was stabbed multiple times? How can you be so sure? How can you be sure of that? Very simple. From the blood on the blade. The blood? When I entered the hut, I saw the defendant holding the blade raised up in the air.
Yes, that's right. I saw it too.
Oh. And I know that there was blood on the blade already at that point. In other words, the victim had already been stabbed at least once by the time I arrived on the scene.
Yes, that's right. I saw it too.
And the victim was already holding the defendant's fountain pen in her hand, too. All of which means I can be sure that the victim did not die instantly.
Yes, right. I saw it too.
Maybe a year in London was too much for him. He sounds like he's forgotten how to speak Japanese. The logic of your argument is sound, at least. Well, as I said, it is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Perhaps it should have been your guiding principle to protect the victim flawlessly. That's just my personal opinion, of course.
Counsel, you refrain from mocking the witness.
Oh no, I just have so many thoughts whirling around in my head. Is all I can do is stand here, wide-eyed and mute.
Goodness!
Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down. But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie. What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons. A misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion even. A delusion. What's important is that we determine the truth. And there's only one sure way we can do that. Yes, with evidence, of course. Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During witness testimony, you can use R to pick a piece of evidence to present for consideration. So you may need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what was said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that may be the inconsistency you're looking for. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies. Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with X, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure. Yes. Alright then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency.
Wow, I'm getting real tired.
I hope I'm up to the task. Don't forget that you can have the witnesses repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember. Those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl. You're right. I need to listen to the testimony again from the start.
Okay, actually I should look at the evidence. Oh, the lag's bad. We got like a 2-second delay here. Huh. Why did this break? Ah, post-mortem report. Actually didn't read it yet. Victim, Giselle Brett. Female, British. Time of death, 11th August at around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Cause of death, single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung, and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Notes: extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim in both eyes. Why don't we have the murder weapon?
Objection!
Did I get it right or get it wrong?
With that accusatory cry, that just welled up from deep inside me. I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high. Indeed.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Council?
I'd like the witnesses to clarify something for me.
Who? What? Where? When? How?
Not you, Sasaki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga. At me? In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right. As I said, when I entered the hut, the defendant was already standing over the victim, blade knife in hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What?
Get to the point, please, Counsel.
In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim was stabbed one time only.
Ah.
In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. And Sasaki-san,
Me?
you claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes, I did. Wildly.
But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife when you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and it's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
True. Then, what is your contention exactly? What exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Yes, you can see. There is only one logical conclusion. What Sasaki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't... Me!
Excellent work, Susao. You exploded at them without objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Objection! Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in that trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempts to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair.
Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing and multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference.
What? Why not?
Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she had witnessed the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood, because the accused had already stabbed the victim. Ha! All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. Ah!
I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion.
But if she was withdrawing the blade...
Then we are back to where we started.
Sorry?
Consider this, young Yoko boy. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation. And it had better been good. And it had better be good.
Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Okay, I think I'm gonna pause it there. Now, why did she pull out the knife? We'll find out next time. Until then, thank you everyone for joining me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye. I got pretty much next time I stream.